Dvar Malchus, Parshas Lech-Lecha. Today's shiur is dedicated to the Refura Shelema of Ariel ben Simcha, and to the safe return of the hostages, and to the safety, B'ezrat Hashem, for the troops. Okay, this is from the 11th of Mar Cheshvan, 57-52. Page 55. The Parsha of Lech-Lecha is a fundamental and essential Parsha. With this Parsha begins the era of Abraham, our forefather, the first Jew, beginning with the first command of Hashem to Abraham. And Hashem said to Abraham, "Go for your own good, from your own land, from your birthplace, from the house of your father, the land I will show you." And after this, the continuation of the Parsha about going and traveling of Abraham in Eretz Yisrael, and the promise of Hashem that he will give to him and his children Eretz Yisrael. To your children I will give you this land. To you I will give it to you and your children forever. And the covenant with the severed animals. On the day Hashem made a covenant with Avram, saying, "To your children I gave this land," including at the end of the Parsha, where it speaks about the command of the mitzvah of the bris milah, circumcision, and the fulfillment of the mitzvah by Avram Avinu, our forefather, through which there is a covenant between the Jewish people of Hashem. "This is my covenant between me and you and your children after you, my covenant in your flesh for an eternal covenant." The promise of Hashem regarding Eretz Yisrael and the mitzvah of Milah, the first matter in the Torah, in the service of Avram Avinu, the first Jew, which from him descends all Jewish nation, it is understood that they express the general content of the whole Torah and Judaism. It is known that with Avram Avinu begins the era of 2,000 years Torah. Avram began the preparation for giving of the Torah to the degree of, moreover, from him began the initial step of the divine union of the giving of the Torah, as it says in the writings of the Rizal. And especially, this began from the command of Hashem to Avram Avinu, for your own good from your hand, go for your own good from your land to the land that I will show you. For which therefore the Torah tells us no more than a few details about the action of Abraham before he came to Eretz Yisrael, and the main relating of his action begins from the command, "Go for your own good from your land," regarding him coming to Eretz Yisrael, which then Avram was 75 years old, as explained in length in Hasidic discourses. We must understand every matter in Torah, an idiom of ha'orah, is an eternal lesson in all times and places in the service of a Jew. What is the instruction for the Jewish people after the giving of the Torah from "go for your own good from your land," a one-time event which was a preparation for the giving of the Torah? Seemingly, what happened. It is not sufficient to answer that this is so that we should know that the service of Abraham of "go for your own good" is a preparation and empowerment for the service after the giving of the Torah, for this is not any practical lesson of the service of the Jews after giving the Torah. Furthermore, every year when we read the Parsha in the Torah, we need to live with it is anew. Most certainly, this is not from the fact that every day they should be new in your eyes. Certainly, a special time of the year when we read the whole Parsha of the Torah among the community with brachas before it and after it, since then the matters are discussed in the Parsha repeat themselves similarly as they took place the first time. Moreover, there is also an addition to them with advanced vigor and greater strength based on the rule ascend in matters of holiness. Based on this, it comes out that on Shabbos, the Parsha of Lech-Lecha every year repeats itself, the phenomenon of "go for your own good" as preparation and beginning of the giving of the Torah, and with the addition in the preparation in comparison to the additions in the previous year, we need an explanation. What is the content of this? The preparation of the giving of the Torah now when we are already after the giving of the Torah. Now when we are already after the giving of the Torah, not only after the preparation and beginning of the giving of the Torah, rather also the completion of the giving of the Torah. This is a question. Furthermore, the phenomenon of the giving of the Torah is every single day. Who gives the Torah in a present tense? And as the words of our sages, every day they should be in your eyes like new, moreover new. And based on the above-mentioned command of the ascent in matters of the holiness, it is understood that every day the new must be at a higher level than was before. So after the ascents in the phenomenon of the giving of the Torah every day, and in addition also in a special way every year, when we read about this in the Torah on the Parshas of Yisro and in the Parshas of Lech-Lecha, and most certainly in the time of giving of the Torah Shavuos, ascends after ascends for truly a vast amount of days, years, and generations. What is the content of go for your own good as a preparation for the giving of the Torah? We cannot say that the service of go for your own good as preparation for giving the Torah is only for one who is missing in his service connected to the giving of the Torah, since the revelation and effect of the Ten Commandments as at the giving of the Torah the first time, and similar is understood every year, is and was not dependent on the level of service of a Jew. The relation of the giving of the Torah itself affected the whole entire world. A bird did not chirp and a bird did not fly, etc. And most certainly every Jew, to the extent that upon each commandment their souls flew out of their bodies, which this shows that they reached the completeness of the service as a soul and a body, and therefore their souls flew out. And may we say that the point of the explanation of this, that this itself is the explanation, being that the giving of the Torah is every day and every year in a higher way to the degree of a new, literally, in comparison to the giving of the Torah before this, and as emphasized especially in the phenomenon of go for your own good and the preparation for the giving of the Torah, that there must be a true going, namely incomparable to the prior state. As we will explain, therefore, there must be on this day and this year of service, go for your own good, as a preparation and preference for the giving of the Torah of this day and this year. As is emphasized also in the above mentioned, the words of our sages, that upon each commandment their souls flew out of their bodies, and after every commandment Hashem made fall the dew, that he is destined in the future to resurrect the dead and revive them. And this is a new dew of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, after the souls flew out, the first commandment, because of the fact that they reached the completeness of the service of a soul and a body, as mentioned above. Indeed, through the dew of resurrection, Torah was given to the soul a new higher mission, and therefore he revived them as a soul and a body, and likewise after the second commandment, and so forth, level after level. And to add that the returning to them is specifically through the dew of resurrection, that he is destined in the future to resurrect the dead at the level of the new Torah in the time to come, as we will explain. And may we say even deeper that the fact that always and also after giving of the Torah there must be a service of go for your own good as a preparation for the giving of the Torah is not only because we need a preparation for a higher level of the giving of the Torah as explained above, rather also because go for your own good is important for the actual completeness of the giving of the Torah and in every level of it. We will explain this by way of preference, a similar question regarding what is related in our Parsha about the going and entering of Avram into Eretz Yisrael, the land that I will show you, and the promise that giving of Eretz Yisrael from Hashem to Avram and his children, being that the matter of our Parsha of the going and entering of Avram into Eretz Yisrael and the giving of Eretz Yisrael to him and his children repeats itself, and with addition every year when we read the Parsha, the question arises, after Hashem in our Parsha already gave Eretz Yisrael actually to the Jewish people, to your children I gave this land. I gave in a past tense, I already gave it, and it belongs to them. It is an inheritance for you and from your forefathers, to the extent that this is pertinent in the Jewish law, that Eretz Yisrael is owned already, even before the Jewish people conquered it. And especially according to the commentaries that say that through Avram fulfilling the commandment, arise and go to land to its length and its width, an act of showing possession, he acquired Eretz Yisrael for his children in all generations. And most certainly, after the Jewish nation actually entered and conquered Eretz Yisrael in the first conquering and the conquering of Yeshua, and afterwards in the second conquering, the conquering of Ezra, our Parsha about Avram leaving your land, of Ezra, how it is now pertinent in actually the story in our Parsha about Avram leaving your land and going to the land that I will show you, and Hashem gave him Eretz Yisrael. These are seemingly matters which took place then and do not repeat themselves again. This question is even stronger in the recent generation in exile. In the first generation of exile, we could have answered that the content of go for your own good from your land to the land that I will show you is pertinent to the spiritual service of make here into Eretz Yisrael, transforming outside of the land and making it into Eretz Yisrael. However, after the vast amount of service throughout the generations of exile of and in make here Eretz Yisrael, although we did not yet completely finish the service, and the proof is that Mashiach did not yet come, we however, are much past the beginning of the service of conquering outside the Holy Land and make from it Eretz Yisrael, and most certainly that we are presently far past the beginning of it, and we need to leave your land and only begin to go into the do your service of make here Eretz Yisrael. And may we say that this explanation of this, when Hashem gave Eretz Yisrael to Avram at the bris bein habarasim, habesarim, and the covenant with the severed animals to your children, I have given them this land. I already gave it actually. He gave actually the same content, all 10 lands, not only the 7 lands of the Shiti, etc., rather also the 3 lands of the Kenini, Kenizi, and Kadamani. Only that openly and actually he gave them 7 nations, and the 3 they are destined to inherit in the time to come, in the days of the King Mashiach. However, Hashem gave it all at once, only that in the fulfillment of the matter, actually there are stages, similar to how regarding the conquering of the 7 lands, this was not immediately in the time of Abraham, rather after time, and not at once, rather in several stages. Even if we look at it regarding the 3 lands, this was only a promise about the future, and at the time he gave them 7 nations and 3, and destined to be an inheritance for the time to come. It is understood that the inheritance of the 3 lands is important for the completeness of the conquering of the whole Eretz Yisrael, also of the 7 lands. Then there will be a completeness also of the 7 lands, and especially that the 7 lands, are the recognized majority of the 10. From this it is understood that since in present time, even in the time of Yeshua, and in the time of the first base of Migdash, and in the time of Ezra, we at most only had 7 lands, and not the 3, Kenini, Kenizi, and Kadmani, as in pertinent to Jewish law regarding the laws of the city of refuge, as the ruling of the Rambam. And there were 6 cities, 3 Moshe set aside on the other side of the Jordan, and 3 Yeshua set aside on the land of Canaan. And in the days of the king of Mashiach, they added 3 more to these 6. Where do they add them? In the cities of the Kenini, Kenizi, and Kadmani. And there is a deficiency in the completeness of the acquiring of Eretz Yisrael, even of the 7 lands. And similar to how this is regarding Eretz Yisrael itself, similarly, this is also regarding the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. Even after the conquering of the land, not at all times was there a state of all those that should settle there were there, which is necessary for the fulfillment of the laws of the Jubilee year. Furthermore, even in those that should settle there itself, there are levels. It is obviously understood that even though regarding Jewish law, the laws of the Jubilee year, all those that should settle there are there means all the Jewish people of that generation, as it was in the time of Yeshua and most of the time in the first base of Migdash. However, in the time to come, there will be all those that should settle there, all there. In addition to there being then also the 10 tribes which were exiled to behind the river of Sambayan. Also, the Jews of all generations, and also the completeness are there, all the 10 lands. There will be then more completeness in all those that should settle there are there, all literally. Based on this, it is understood how the phenomenon in our Parsha, go for your own good from your land, and the topic of acquiring the land through going to its length and its width is pertinent actual also in the present time, since as long as we do not yet have actually the 3 lands of the Kenini, Kenizi, and Kadmani, that together with the ultimate completeness of all those that should settle there are there, all the Jewish people of all the generations, in the true and complete redemption, we are still in the middle of acquiring the land, since even the acquiring of the 7 lands was not yet truly complete at that time, and it's still necessary that there should be go for your own good from your land. Jews from all the places and all the generations should go from outside the Holy Land to the land that I will show you, and acquire Eretz Yisrael and its completeness, all 10 lands. And since I await him every day, and he will come, every day I await that he, Mashiach, will come today. Therefore the Jews in all generations yearn for there to already be, go for your own good from your land to the land that I will show you, and for the acquiring of all 10 lands. And to add to this point even more in our generation and in our time, as spoken many times, that the conceits are over. And my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, notified that we already did tshuva, and we already polished the buttons, and according to all signs of our generation is the last generation of exile, and automatically the first generation of redemption. And based on this, it's understood that in a timely manner to prepare actually for go for your own good from your land to the land I will show you, literally immediately, and we will acquire Eretz Yisrael in its completeness, all 10 lands, which is an eternal inheritance of the Jewish people, an inheritance from our forefathers since the Bris Ben Habesarim. And the innovation will now be that we will receive the 3 lands in a pleasant and peaceful manner, since at the time in the days of the Beis Hamikdash, and since at the time in the days of Mashiach there will not be war. Rather, the nations of the world will give this to the Jewish people on their own, from their own goodwill. Similarly, we may say that the explanation regarding go for your own good as a preparation and beginning of the giving of the Torah, since the completeness of the giving of the Torah will be in the true and complete redemption, when we will have the completeness of Eretz Yisrael, the 10 lands, as we will explain, when there will be a revealed new Torah insight which will come forth from me, indeed, in comparison to the completeness of the giving of the Torah of the time to come, which the Torah as studied by a person in the present time is not in relation to the Torah insight of Mashiach, and most certainly in comparison to the new Torah insights which will come forth from me. We are now still at your preparation for this, the preparation of go for your own good. Namely, the preparation of go for your own good is pertinent not only for the matter of giving of the Torah, which is present every day in the higher way than the day before, as mentioned above, only also and mainly regarding the preparation for receiving the new Torah insights of the time to come, which this is incomparable to all the ascents of the giving of the Torah before this. The connection of acquiring the 10 lands, with which giving the Torah and preparation for this is of your own good, we will understand by way of preference and explanation of why go for your own good from your land is the beginning of the service and the preparation of the giving of the Torah. The innovation of the giving of the Torah that then was accomplished, the uniting of the upper realms and the lower realms with the nullifying of the decree that the upper realms shall not descend to the lower realms, and the lower realms should not ascend to the upper realms, and that the level of godliness which are completely above the world should be drawn in the lower realm, and the creation of below should unite with the upper realms, that through the fulfillment of the mitzvahs with physical objects, and physical objects will become a holy item to the degree that it will be the dwelling for him. Blessed be him, he in the lowest realms, a dwelling for him, for his essence, blessed be he. The phenomenon begins with the command and accomplishment of Avraham, go for your own good from your land, from your birthplace, and I will show you, and from your house of your father, to the land I will show you, and especially through the fulfillment of the mitzvah of circumcision, we will explain later. And also, before go for your own land, when Avraham was 75 years old, Avraham did his service in his land, his birthplace, in the land of his father, and a high level. He recognized his maker. He served Hashem and publicized godliness in the world, and with self-sacrifice, as this was expressed also in the test of the furnace of the fire of your Hasidim. And as the Rambam writes at length about the great virtue of the service of Abraham, even before the command of go for your own good, once this mighty one was weaned, he began to ponder with his mind until he reached the truth, and began to stand and call with a great voice to all the world, and let them know that there was one God for the whole world, and he is the one to serve. And to add in the accurate wording, mighty one, that Abraham stood with all his might against the whole world, Avram Ha'ivri, the whole world on one side, Aver, and he was on the opposite side, and he was not intimidated by them, even though he was the only Avram and not Abraham. And Haman Goyim, the father of many nations, as we will explain, to the degree in a manner that Avram influenced his place, that although it was Haran, an idiom of Haran, anger of Hashem, that he transformed it through the souls that he made in Haran to the degree that it should be called by his name, as called in the Torah of truth, your land and your birthplace and your father's house. Through him influence his father and his father's house, as the verse says, and you will come to your ancestor in peace, teaching that Terach did tshuva. Nevertheless, we see that this is not related in the writing Torah at all about the service of Avram until the Parshas of Lech-Lecha, and even when it is related at the end of Parshas of Noach, it is written truly in short, his birth and very few other details, since he explained in several places until his service was in a manner that him and the world around him remained two separate things, the upper realm and the lower realm, spiritual and physical separate, and this service was in one of two ways, either removed from the world, Avram, father up high, intellect that is beyond all compensation, or in a matter that he did with the world, that was in a matter that the lower realms remain on the level and not connected to the upper realms. Although Abraham, fulfilling the commandment of Hashem, go for your own good from your land and your birthplace and the house of your father to the land that I will show you, and he went away, and all of the limitations and his routinely service until then, including in his service of influence in the world, that it become your land, and even in the limited level of holiness, he nullified also his limitations, the separation and decree between the upper realms and the lower realm, and between the union of the upper realm and the lower realm, through him doing Hashem's command and going away from your land and from your birthplace and from your house of your father, and going to the land that I will show you. I will reveal you yourself, your essence. It will be revealed on the land, the lowest realm, its true existence and essence, the upper realms. And this is the innovation of go for your own good from your land to the land that I will show you, that Avram did not suffice with his service during the 75 years until then, even being a very high level service, rather according to the command of Hashem, that he went away from his place, and what was he used to, etc. He went on his way. Then he was innovated the service in the manner of going. Go, which is true. Going means advancing ahead comparably. One goes completely away from his previous place and states even of holiness, a going that is above limits, and in itself he had a continuation of going and traveling at level after level, and Avram traveled, going and traveling, and in both directions, both from below to above, and from the land of Haran he ascended to the land that I will show you, Eretz Israel. And I will show you in its meaning you yourself, as explained above, as well as from above to below, that he began doing service of the united and upper realms and lower realms, drawing godliness in a physical and material world, lowest of which there is no lower than it is, in a much higher way incomparable than it was before this, as emphasized also this after the fulfillment of the mitzvah of Milah, in the change of the name of Avram to Avraham, for Av Haman Goyim, a father of many nations, I have made for you. Before he was Avram, he was only father of Aram, father for Aram, and now a father for the whole world, namely that for him there was going in his service in the world, that he accomplished the refinement not only in the place of Aram, rather of the whole world, and in a manner that he comes a father of many nations, the boss over them, even though he is one and they are many, even more than the strength of the mighty one is Avram, as explained before. And one depends on the other, being that he had an incomparable advance in accomplishing the refinement of the very low, the whole world. Therefore, this also brought an advance to a very high. I will show you, I will reveal you yourself. And similarly, also, on the other hand, specifically by the power of going very high, one can refine also the very low, to the degree that the lowest realms and the highest realms are united, as this was accomplished in its completeness at the giving of the Torah, which the Parsha of Lech-Lecha is in preparation for. And may we say that this is also the explanation of why Parshas Lech-Lecha in the third Parsha of the Torah, third within the trifold of the Torah itself, since the content of Lech-Lecha is the preparation for the beginning of the giving of the Torah, which is connected to the third path. the middle one which connects the upper realms and the lower realms. The Parshas of Bereshis, the first Parshas, is hinted in naming Bereshis in the beginning. Its content is about the creation of the world, which is created by Hashem, the upper realms. The content of the Parsha of Noah, the second Parsha, is hinted in its beginning. Noach twice is connected with the refinement of below through the service of Noach the Tzaddik, and especially through the great flood, the lowest realms. And the Parshas of Lech-Lecha, the third Parsha, is connected to the unions of the upper realm with the lower realms as preparation for the beginning of the giving of the Torah. The phenomena of the union of the upper realms and the lower realm is go for your own good as preparation for the giving of the Torah came out of the revealed way and simply in the fulfillment of the mitzvah of the circumcision of Avraham Avinu. As spoken many times, that the power of the Jewish people have for the fulfillment of the mitzvah after giving the Torah to permeate the set of holiness in the physical matters with which the mitzvahs are done comes from the mitzvahs that our forefather fulfilled before the giving of the Torah. The actions of the forefathers are a sign for the children, and especially through the mitzvah of circumcision of Avraham Avinu, which the holiness of the mitzvah also before the giving of the Torah remains in the limb and physical objects, also after the fulfillment of the mitzvah, unlike the other mitzvahs that the forefathers fulfilled, which were mere fragrance. And therefore Avram said, "Please put your hand under my thigh, so that there be an oath with holding a holy object, since before the giving of the Torah there was none other mitzvah in which remained holiness as to after the fulfillment of the mitzvah. And since the mitzvah of circumcision was similar to the mitzvahs after the giving of the Torah, therefore it connected all other mitzvahs of the forefather with the mitzvah of after giving the Torah, that the action of the forefather should be a sign for the children. One of the reasons why Hashem chose specifically the mitzvah of circumcision as an empowerment for the fulfillment of mitzvahs after the giving of the Torah being similar to them, since in this mitzvah there is an innovation in comparison to all other mitzvahs, that through the fulfillment of this mitzvah is set clearly a physical and material body of a Jew, a sign and covenant with Hashem. My covenant is your flesh for an everlasting covenant. Furthermore, one of the reasons for this mitzvah is in order to weaken the materialistic aspect of this limb. Furthermore, one of the reasons for the mitzvah is in order to weaken the materialistic aspect of the limb, which because of this there needs to be a special caution. And still the innovation in this is that not only does the mitzvah constitute turn away from evil, rather the mitzvah transforms the physical and material limb that it be a holy object, to the degree that this becomes an everlasting covenant, bris olam, in a matter that is eternal, le'olam. And may we also say olam with the meaning that this is revealed to all the nations of the world, olam. And may we say that since the holiness and eternal of the mitzvah of Hashem is drawn even in a physical and material thing, expresses even more the eternal power of godliness, that this is drawn and permeates even this place, and therefore this gives the power of all the mitzvahs of the forefathers, that they should be in action for the forefather as a sign for the children, for all the mitzvahs after the giving of the Torah, that through them they should set holiness in the physical things in an openly revealed way and in an internalized manner. And therefore, specifically through the fulfillment of the mitzvah of circumcision, Hashem changed the name of Abraham, and instead of Avram, he will be called Avram, for a father of many nations I have made you. Since the mitzvah of circumcision also gives the power to refine all the nations of the world, also in their physical and materialism, including in the lowest, which there is no lower than. And there should also shine revelation of godliness, the power of the Maker in the creation, including the completeness of this, the King will be for Hashem in a true and complete redemption. Based on this, we will also understand the connection of the uniting of the upper realms and the lowest realms at the giving of the Torah, and also the preparation for this go for your own good, the mitzvah of circumcision, with the continuation of the topic that after you go for your own good, the land that I will show you, Hashem promised and gave Eretz Yisrael to Abraham and his children forever, including in the bris bein ha-besarim, to your children I gave the land. The giving of Eretz Yisrael to Abraham is so that Abraham and his children after him should transform the physical land and make it Eretz Yisrael, a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realm. In the conquering and service of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael, it's expressed the complete service of uniting the upper realms and lower realms, the content of giving the Torah that we refine and elevate this lower world, the physicality and materialism of the world, and we make from it a dwelling for Hashem, and therefore the completeness of the fulfillment of the mitzvahs that were given at the giving of the Torah is specifically in Eretz Yisrael. And based on this, it is understood that the giving of Eretz Yisrael in our Parsha to your children forever gives the power of the completeness of the fulfillment of the action of the mitzvah after the giving of the Torah, that they should accomplish the refinement of the physical objects. Which this is the connection of go for your own good to the land that I will show you, and its completeness with the mitzvah of circumcision, with the going of Avram into Eretz Yisrael, and the giving of Eretz Yisrael to Avram. They are both one continuation of one content. The empowerment of the beginning of the union of the upper realms and the lower realms, which are accomplished at the giving of the Torah. And may we say that similarly to how the mitzvah of circumcision is expressed in the completeness of the dwelling in the lowest realm in the body of the person, similarly we may say Eretz Yisrael expressed the completeness of the dwelling of the lowest realms in his portion of the world. Based on this, it's understood that the explanation of the lesson in the action for Parshas Lech-Lecha as a preparation for the giving of the Torah, since the service must be constantly advanced forward, including an advance that is incomparable to before, as emphasized in the phenomenon of go for your own good itself, including also regarding the giving of the Torah, as it is understood, we must also have for this go for your own good as an instruction and preparation for the revelation of the giving of the Torah. And most certainly, when we are speaking about, in comparison to the truly high and immeasurable greater revelation of the true and complete redemption, indeed, since go for your own good and acquiring Eretz Yisrael is in preparation and beginning of the giving of the Torah, and this is dependent. The completeness of the giving of the Torah uniting the upper realm and the lower realm. It is understood that as long as there is something missing in the completeness of acquiring the land, as is the present time when we do not have all the 10 lands, something is also missing also in the completeness of the effect of the giving of the Torah, completeness in the fulfillment of the Torah and the mitzvahs. Specifically through there will be completeness of go for your own good from your land to the land I will show you, and acquiring Eretz Yisrael in its completeness, all 10 lands. Then there will also be the completeness of the fulfillment of Torah and mitzvahs, and the mitzvahs as you desire, as it will be in the true and complete redemption. And therefore, as long as we are still before the redemption, it is pertinent, actually literally, the command of go for your own good from your land to the land I will show you, and acquiring the completeness of Eretz Yisrael, all 10 lands, also as preparation for the completeness of the Torah and mitzvahs. A new Torah will come forth from me. In addition to this being important for the giving of the Torah, every day a new way gives the Torah in a present tense, which will be also after the redemption. Therefore, also then there will be service of go for your own good. The explanation of this also benefits a deeper meaning. The conquering over the 7 lands expresses the service of the refinement of the 7 attributes, and the land of the Kanini, Kenizi, and Kadmani, the service of the 3 faculties of intellect, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. In the present time, the Jewish people were given only the 7 lands, since now the main service is comprised of the refinement of the attributes, and the service of the 3 faculties of intellect is mainly to influence the attributes. However, in the time to come, when every man in the service of Hashem will be at the height of perfection, the service with the 3 faculties of intellect will also, and mainly a service in itself, to unite godliness through the complete union, an amazing union, of his intellect with Torah, the wisdom of Hashem, which he and his wisdom are all one, which through this, that the Torah and Hashem is all one, is revealed how the Jewish people and the Torah and Hashem are all one. From this it is understood that the completeness of the service, also the 7 attributes, as specifically when we have all 10 soul powers, the 3 faculties of intellect, and the 7 attributes, also they are for themselves, that in the wording of the verse, and you shall love Hashem your God with all your heart, 7 attributes, and with all your soul 10 powers, and that all your might, literally all your very much service is above and beyond limitations. Similar, go for your own good, also the 10 soul powers of the person, including as is connected with the true very much and limited Hashem, and the preparation, empowerment, and the beginning of this is for the commandment of the Parsha, go for your own good from your land. The land I will show you, the giving of Eretz Yisrael, all 10 lands, which this includes the completeness of the service and also the completeness of the giving of the Torah, that in addition to the revelation of the faculties of intellect that is in the Torah are related to the attributes and revelation, the 49 gates of understanding that were given in its present time. As this was at the giving of the Torah the first time, we will also have the revelation of the 3 faculties of intellect, as they are essential, the revelation of the 50 gate, including as it is incomparably higher than the 49 gates in the new Torah, will come forth from me in the true and complete redemption. And together with this exceedingly high revelation, the 3 faculties of intellect as they are in essence, this will also be drawn in the whole entire world, including also in the low earth, as hinted in the letter Kaf in Kanini, Kanizi, and Kadmani, which go below the line 3 times Kaf in a matter of Chazak, that there will be, the land will be covered with the knowledge of Hashem, like the water covers a sea, as we explained, Yam sea, as the numerical value of Nun 50 corresponding to the revelation of the 50th gate, and the Mayim in plural, which alludes to the public domain of the land. The world of separateness will be covering them in plural. It will be openly revealed, and the entire world is only a secondary cover to the ocean of the Torah, the 50th gate, water that has no end above and beyond limitations. One of the practical instructions from the above spoken. Every Jew has an obligation to go into Torah study, to expand it, to innovate new insights in Torah. No matter how much Torah a Jew already learned, it is always possible to add to it to the degree of an innovative manner. Since the Torah is beyond limits, its measurement is longer than the earth, wider than the ocean, and furthermore, being that the wisdom of Hashem, every detail in the Torah itself, gives the power to give birth to more details with no end. In the going and innovation itself, it can be in several manners, a revelation, a relative advance, an innovation, and within itself several levels. The lesson from go for your own to the land I will show you, go for your own good to the land I will show you, is that it should not be merely a regular going and innovation, rather a true going, which is specifically an immeasurable advance, that he goes completely away from his previous state and what he was used to, even his routine in holiness, including the innovation that he previously innovated, and also advancing beyond his manner of thinking that he previously had and the like, until he reaches to the land I will show you. He reveals you yourself, your essence, his entire capability, also his hidden powers, and similarly with the powers themselves, not only the revelation of the 7 attributes and the intellect that is revealed in the attributes, rather also the intellect as it is in essence, which specifically this constitutes as the innovation of go for your own good, I will show you. The regular service of a person is through using his revealed powers. In this there is nothing novel, since these are the powers that he and all he knows of, as a result of as it is understood and simple that he must use them in their fullest, and simply the hidden powers, however hidden, that is related and close to being revealed. This is not that novel. What is truly novel is when he reveals himself, you, your essence, the hidden powers, which no one, including he himself, knew or thought he had, such powers to the degree that one wonders how does he even have this. And when he uses these powers to innovate new insight in Torah, this is truly go for your own good to the land I will show you. And just as he must be regarded one's own Torah study, so too this must be also regarding the service of establishing many students, including to gather gatherings on Shabbos to teach Torah to them. And this must be in a manner of truly going, in a truly novel manner, namely, that in addition to what is self-understood, that he must constantly add in the number and quantity of the students, and not suffice with how much he has accomplished until now, even if he already established many students. As long as he has the ability to reach another Jew, including all sorts of Jews, that they should take part in Torah class, he must do this as obvious, and especially that there are always new boys and girls who become bar mitzvah that one can influence, and they should take part in Torah class. And similar regarding added in the quality of the study, with more understanding and more depth to the degree of a new study in a new way, and accomplish that the student becomes a veteran student, an innovative insight in Torah. This is also nothing novel, since everyone has the obligation to expand it, as mentioned above. A true going is when the novel insight of the student is from the hidden powers that till this moment he did not know that he had them, and as obvious that the one to elevate all these matters is not oneself, since due to being busy with another mitzvah or due to love of himself, one can sometimes make a mistake in calculations, rather specifically someone else that is not biased. And in this is added a special emphasis in their generation, based on the spoken above, that in this generation, especially the last generation of exile, the first generation of redemption, is exceedingly emphasized the service of go for your own good from the land to the land I will show you, and acquiring of all 10 lands. It is understood that this must first and foremost reflect the service similar to this of the Jewish people, through him adding in Torah study, not only befitting his 3 faculties of intellect that are related to the attributes, rather also the 3 faculties of intellect in essence, which these are especially through adding in the study of deeper part of Torah, including the explanation of these matters of service in the intellect, including in matters of redemption and Mashiach. And may it be the will of Hashem that through the addition of the service of go for your own good should immediately be fulfilling simply go for your own good from your land, gather are dispersed from the 4 corners of the earth, and we go all to lands I will show you, to the length and its width, including in the lands the Kenizi and Kadmani, which we receive in the peaceful manner from the nations of the world, as mentioned earlier. And together with this, we have the completeness of all 10 powers of the soul, the 7 attributes, and the 3 faculties of intellect, together with also mainly the revelation of the new Torah insights that will come from me, including in a manner that this is spread to the whole world. The world will be covered with the knowledge of Hashem, as the water covers the sea, and also for the nations of the world, the only occupation of the whole world will be known to Hashem alone, and the kingdom will be for Hashem. And similarly, in all parts of the world, inanimate and what grows, and animals, will be revealed the power of the Creator in the creations, including that a stone from the wall will cry out, and similarly a fig which grows, and similarly animals, all creatures will know you created it, and all matters were formed will understand that you formed it, and all those that have a soul in its nostrils will say that the whole world becomes a dwelling place for him. Blessed be he in the lowest realms, and also in the worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, Asiya will there be the revelation of the worlds of Atzilus, in an idiom for Atzilu, close to him, the essence of the Amanir, blessed be he. And from Lech-Lecha we come immediately to the Parsha of Hashem appeared to him, and its completeness in the true and complete redemption, and your eyes will see your master, souls and bodies at the height of health and perfection. More and mainly, literally, immediately, we need Mashiach now.